How you doing, guys? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk about the devil fruit tier list. Hold on, I'm neither going to talk about the PvP and PvE fruit list. I was ranking the devil fruits by their overall advantages. So that means part of the devil fruits have either disadvantages or advantages in situations of PvP or PvE. Now without further ado, let's get into the tier list. Starting at D tier, we've got Suke. Now Suke is not that bad for PvP. If you have combo extenders for the Suke rock, that can actually be useful in PvP. However, in PvE, the enemies are not able to see you. However, being invisible can waste a huge amount of stamina. So if I will talk overall, I would say Suke is the worst fruit in the game. Coming up on the next D tier, we've got Kilo. In PvE, Kilo can be really good for dungeons, but in PvE that's not dungeons, it can really suck. And in PvP, Kilo is amazing with other items, but it takes time to get used to it. And while you got the downside of not getting used to Kilo in PvP, you can get completely wrecked. Now coming up on the low C tier, we've got Spin. Okay, now Spin is insane for PvP with other items, like it's got the combos, you know what I'm saying? But in PvE, Spin really sucks. Coming up on the next C tier, we've got Bombu. Okay, now Bombu is one of the best fruits for dungeons. In PvE, that's not dungeons, it is decent. And in PvP, it's also pretty decent if you know how to use it. But the biggest downside for Bombu is that it drains all of your HP when you do the self-explosion. Anyone who's watching this video that has Bombu, you know I'm right. And if you have a different opinion about Bombu, well,
this is your opinion.
Coming up on the next C tier, we have Gomu. Now we all know how OP Gomu can be in PvP, considering when you put max devil fruit stats, it can pretty much one-shot barrage. And in PvE it can be really useful for bosses. And you can also fast travel with Balloon. And moving into the high C tier, which is Bari. The reason why Bari is a high C tier is because in PvP it can actually be really good for combos with other items, because you can just either use Sphere to lure them or use this cage to lure them and hit them, so that is really overpowered. In PvE, Bari is really good for luring bosses, which lets your teammates in the raid actually do their job as well. Moving further to the B tier fruits, we have Horo. I like to call this fruit the quadcopter, having control of your soul and killing people with it. In PvP, Horo is really decent. In dungeons, it rocks, and mainly in PvE, it's really good. And that is because your soul can't be hit. The only downside about Horo that if someone finds your body, you're screwed. We're moving on to the next B tier. We have Mero. In PvP, Mero is built different. Mero is one of the best move stacking devil fruits in the game. If Mero was better at PvE, that would definitely make it an high A tier fruit. But unfortunately, Mero sucks at PvE. Moving on to the next B tier fruit, we have Sunnah. As of update 4.5, Sunnah nearly has gotten gutted. Sunnah no longer has any true combo extenders, and as its Storm got nerfed. It's still good for PvE, but not as it was before. And the next fruit on the list is Goura. In PvP, Goura can guard break, knockback, and combo extend other items. The Zento is way better with Goura. However, it doesn't make Goura God tier, which implies to how good Goura is with other items. Goura in PvE is average. It isn't outstanding because it has short-ranged moves with long cooldown. Although Goura can be really good in dungeons, because the tsunami can utterly destroy the NPCs because of its huge AoE and insane damage. Next fruit on the list is Goro. In PvP, Goro is amazing because Goro can infinite combo in PvP. Although in PvE it's not that good, it is able to solo until wave 25 in dungeons. Therefore, it deserves to be on the middle B tier. Pole is actually better when you use Goro because it has the trident form, which boosts the damage for each move of Pole. Next fruit on the list is Zushi. Zushi is one of the best fruits for PvP and is better with Gravity Blade. Zushi's Meteor is Heartbreak. Zushi is also good in PvE for Kraken or sea beast farming. Also pretty good at dungeons, and most of the moves are short cooldown. In fact, this fruit has so many advantages, sincerely puts it on the high B tier. Zushi also boosts the speed of Overboard, which is greatly known by its mobility. Moving on to the highest B tier, we have Tori. In PvP, Tori is really good. Not only you have burn damage, but you can also fly and heal yourself. You get to turn into a goddamn phoenix. If that's not enough, in range you can just heal your teammates. All I can say is Tori is really fun, and that's what makes it overvalued. Moving to the low A tier, we have Hie. In PvP, you can just use Hie to stun someone to a wall and win. You can also freeze enemies with Hie for 5 seconds. In PvE, you can freeze bosses to help other teammates, and freezing enemies is probably the longest stun in the game. To kill multiple enemies around you, you just need to use Ice Age and boom, they're dead. You can also walk on water and ride a bike on water, which prevents you being gripped by sharks. The next fruit on the list is Pika. In PvP, Pika is actually really good because Pika has a guard break and light rain. You can basically just fly up with Pika and Skycap. The downside about Pika in PvP is that you actually need skill for it. In PvE, Pika is one of the best fruits, if not the best fruits in the game. As for killing minion enemies, you just get an high ground and light ray them, which melts their HP. And for bosses, you can either use the light rain or light ray if the boss is already lured. Considering how much damage Pika does, is by my opinion the best PvE fruit. Overall, Pika is the best fruit for fast travel. It is faster than any boat that exists in the game. And moving to the last day tier, we've got Mera. In PvP, Mera is amazing. I'm shocked myself from how many combos you can do with the fireflies, and from the damage that Flame Pillar does as a guard break, and the big boy anti-bomb does so much damage along with burn damage. In PvE, Mera is almost good for anything, whether it's ship farming, kraken farming, dungeons, and minion enemies. The Firefly helps in dungeon, and Fireflies, Flame Pillar, Iken, and Entei are good for the rest. Mera doesn't need to save itself from water if you can save yourself by flying inside the water and getting yourself out from the water. Moving to the last devil fruit of the tier list in S tier, and that is Magu. With this fruit in PvP, you don't even need skill to win. Just put 800 points in the fruit and you surprise your opponent with insane damage along with insane burn damage. For example, my burn damage is about 30. If I land all my bullets with the magma rain, I do over 2k damage. The only way to dodge eruption is by jumping, and to do that you need insane reflex. But of course, if you don't dodge it, well, karma. I use magma swamp the least in PvP because the enemy can just dodge it like sky camp over it and not get hit. So to actually deliver the damage of swamp, you actually need nasty combos. If you actually know what you're doing and the enemy has nothing to do about it, to tower up on the enemy with a magma rain, hitting with most projectiles, and the high chance of one-shot raining the enemy. Now in PvE, Magu is also really amazing. It can handle ship farming, kraken farming, dungeons, boss raids, and minions, just like Mera. But the difference between Magu and Mera is that Magu deals way more damage. In fact, Magu is the best devil fruit for damage. Plus, Magu can walk on water like Hiei. The only downside with Magu that doesn't really bother me much is that Magu is a slow fruit. That is, Magu doesn't have flight, but I have Gepo so it doesn't bother me. Anyways, that's it for the tier list. I hope you enjoyed the video. This video took me a huge time to make, so please leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.